So let's start with the blank template, and let's do it from scratch. So usually to have to set up different backgrounds, we need to zero the margins of the template, just so we can add images, we can add different colors. Once you have the margins, you will have that blank padding around the page. So let's first zero them. And how I usually suggest our users do is have different rows, and the row is basically the main container of the other element. So in here we can set up a role with a static row height and have it a page size. So in here I have a letter document, so the height is 11 inches. In here we have pixels, but I already made this conversion, so it's usually 1056 pixels. So if we just give it a refresh, the row should be a size of 1 page. So in the contents pane, we can see the row right here. We'll see everything that it's holding. So for today, I have a document that we'll try to replicate today. So we have here some pages and some background. So I'll try to replicate this background right here. Also this one and the closing page. So for the first one, I just got an image for it. So we'll use this image as a background, and I already have it uploaded to the assets. So let's just go to the properties pane of the row, and under background, let's go to images, and I already have this background right here. So this will be applied to the background of the row. Let me add a column just so we are able to preview it. And as you see, it takes the entire page, and let's just duplicate this row right here to have the same settings, and I will remove the background image. So, okay, let me remove this from the second page, reset, and from the third page. Okay, so in the second page, we have those kind of two different colors for two columns. So let's reproduce it in Documint. In this case, it's pretty simple. So you don't need to have a background image. We can use the builder to build it within the document. And now let's build it in Documint. So let's just duplicate this column right here. As you can see, I am accessing the column. And we now will have two columns, and let's just tweak the width a bit. I'll put it to 30. Yeah, I believe it's a good one. So we have two different background colors. For one of them, we have a dark brown. I already have the color here, so I'll just put it in the background color. And we'll have that other yellowish background color. So let me edit. And now for the last page, we have two options. So if we take a look at the simple document we have, you see that you can do as just a similar thing that we did, just having two rows and have two colors in that row, or we can also have a background image. So we'll go on both options. So let's take a look in our template, and let's build it together. So here right now I have that row that's holding all the content of my page. I have a column. So right now I'll add 2 rows. And this row will be basically the half of what we already have for the row height. So it would be 528 pixels. And let's give it a refresh. And let's duplicate it. Okay, 1 second. Yeah. Let me add a column here to help us. Okay. And let's duplicate this row. Give it a refresh just to get the correct sizes. Maybe it didn't save. Let's try again. Okay. Okay, let me just do this and use those ones. Good. So now let's add the background color for this one right here, which is that dark blue. And in here we have the same background color as this one. So let's just copy it, add it here. And let's take a preview at the final document. So you see that it has exactly the page sizes. It will automatically break to the next page since we have the row height set up to the exact page height. And now let's have a quick look at how it would be if we just added a background image for that last page. So let's add a row, same process, set up the row height to 1056 pixels. Let's add a column just to help us with the formatting and add to the background an image with the little tweak. Okay, let's give it a refresh. And here are the 2 options we have for the last page. So now we should have 4 pages. And that's it. That's very simple. You can play around it. I have started building that template. That template we just had a look. So this is essentially how it would look. This is the cover page. And the second page, I thought we could put this out together. So let's take a look at the reference we have. So in the second page, we have here the executive summary. So let's try and build this. I'll list this left part of the page so you can see how we can tweak that and how we can replicate a document in using Document Builder. So let's go to our template. Okay, and here we have some padding. So I'll add it here. We have a different padding for the top and the left and right side of this column. So I'll add this here for now. Maybe also the same thing at the bottom. And checking our reference, we have here section 1, executive summary, and then some text. So let's reproduce it in Document. Let's add here text element at the top. This will be our section 1. So have here a different color. It's the same as this one right here. So let's just copy it. Add it here. reduce the font size a bit. And now let's add the executive summary text. So in here we have executive. So to make it match, we have to make it bold. The font looks a bit with Times New Roman. The color is the same as I'm using here. So let's edit here. Let's increase the size a bit. Okay, too big. Maybe this. Okay, this works. And now let's have here summary. This has a yellowish color, which is the same as this one. So let's use it. And it's also italic. Just to like make it look a bit more like the reference we have, I'll just zero the top and bottom margin so the text elements are a bit closer. And we also have a bottom line right here. So let's also edit there. I'll do something similar to what I did here. So basically I added a row with some columns, and I'll do the same thing here. So we can tweak the size of that line. So I'll add here a column. Let's duplicate it. And since we have a 10 pixels padding left here for this text element, just so it align nicely, I'll add some padding to the row holding the columns. So in here, just add a bottom border, and let's have that brown color we have here for this text. So do the same here for this bottom border. It's a bit thinner than pixel, maybe 1.7. And let's reduce this here a bit so it aligns nicely. And just a hack, just so it doesn't look like this big in the template, you can add a spacer and make it as small as possible, just so you can see the actual height. But in this case, we have some height here, so I'll add 20 pixels. Let's take a look at how it's coming along. Okay. And now we also have a text right here. So let's just copy it, add it to our template. And now let's just add a text element right here. We have some spacing there, so let's also add a spacer. It can have like 30 pixels. Thanks. Good spacing. Let's add text here, paste it, and let's add the color. Yeah, we can use this one for now. And now we have some values here. So let's add them. And I'll open the section for questions. So let's replicate this. So in this case, we'll need a generous spacer, and let's have, just so we have, as we have like two of the same design, so add a new row to hold everything together. So at the end, when we need to duplicate it, we can just copy the entire row with the entire formatting. So in here we have a text which has a small margin, and we have a number. Let me just duplicate this text element right here. So let's take a look at our reference. We have here this reviewed. Okay, let's add a color. This is black for now. This is actually grayish. Let's reduce the size. And now let's go back to our value. Okay, we add now the same color. This is a bit bigger, so let's increase the size. This is bolded. Yeah, I think this is whitish. Let's just here. I'll also use times, get a nicer formatting. So since I already have this here inside a row, I can just duplicate it 2 times to have the same formatting for the others, for the other values we have there. So let me just paste them in our template. Okay, and just add some spacing in between. Okay, so let's take a look at how it's coming along. And just so it doesn't take longer, I'll end it from here, but I'll build the template and see if we can make it available in our gallery, just so you can take a look and see how everything is formatted, and to help you get there and to help you replicate the sample document you have there. So thank you very much. Thank you for joining us today.